brothers and sisters in Christ, and welcome back to Cloud9 Blessings. Thank you for joining me here on another video. I really enjoy being able to experience many of the dreams that were emailed in from brothers and sisters in Christ from around the world with you. And in today's video, we are going to be looking at an end times dream that was emailed in by our dear sister in Christ, Andrea. So let's now take a look and see what our sister in Christ saw in her end times dream.
Good morning. So I'm sharing my rapture dream, or actually I think I should call it end times dream. I had more than one dream over a period of a couple of years. My earliest dream that I had was back in the very late 80s and early 90s. And just to kind of set the tone, I dreamed that I was going out with a Christian music band I was a part of at the time. We were flying as we were on the road playing, and we were flying in my dream, and we were landing everywhere we could to go to talk to one person that the Lord had sent us to, and I caught wind of in a hotel room a TV screen. And so this was obviously in the future, because at the time I dreamed it, we didn't have ticker tape news, at the bottom of the TV screen where it would just be running headlines. And I saw that. It was very weird to me because it was the late 80s. We just didn't have that. So that was really my first dream. It seemed like we were, supposed to go and keep searching out these particular people, not large groups, but this one person at a time in these different places. We would fly all over the U.S. and even the world to get to them. So that was my first dream of that nature. But starting in about 2017, after I returned to the Lord and redevoted my life and basically devoted my life and my time and myself and my heart to Him to do with me as He wished, and surrendered, which is a very important thing to do. It's a lot different from, talking about being a believer and lip service, which is what I'd been doing. It followed a period where I even stopped doing that and was just sort of running. So after I rededicated my life, then I started having dreams again. I've always had dreams. I've had visions, and I'll share some of the visions and the other dreams later. But these two really hit me sort of right between the eyes and put me on a different pathway of thinking about what was coming. So in about 2017, in the summertime, I had a dream. And in this dream, I wasn't living anymore in the little town where I was living when I had the dream. So I was aware that I was looking at it as an outsider. Now, I'm not sure if I was looking at it as an outsider because I was in heaven, had been raptured or whatever, or if I had moved. And more on that later. But I was taken to a hilltop, which there really is a hill in the spot where I was, but this was not an earthly hill. It was a vantage point that would be impossible from the hillside that's actually physically there. So my son was with me, and he is now 18, but he was young then, and we stood on this mountaintop, and we had an angel sort of standing apart from us, not really talking to us, but letting us see something. So we both were watching, and I looked and I saw that where I had lived before, this tiny town in the middle of my state, that it was very different. There was a new building I did not recognize that hadn't been built yet, and there was a school building that was there that hadn't been finished yet. And what I saw was people by the hundreds sitting in these buildings. And so 3 of the buildings were school buildings, and one of them I didn't recognize. At the time, I had no idea what in the world it was, but it's since been built, and I know what it is now. So in the buildings, we were allowed to see down at the floor level, down at the table level, where all of these tables had been pushed into rooms and hallways, but mostly it was people in what used to be the school cafeteria. And people were not going to school. There was no school. They were there to eat. That was their sole reason to be there, to gather, possibly to be, entertained, kept busy. I'm not sure. And what I noticed first was constantly, it was a constant thing. It wasn't occasional. Every person, no matter the age, was staring at a black screen on a phone and turning and asking over and over again. It was almost like a mental illness, and I don't mean to be disparaging, but this is just how it came off to me. Asking each other, asking moms, asking dads, kids that were supposed to be going to school were obviously there with their families. People older asking other people, middle-aged, 20s, 30s, 80s, whatever. And they were asking each other, when do you think they're going to have the phone service back on? And it was obviously fairly soon after some incident had happened that had caused all the cell phones to go dead. And I don't know whether the electricity was off. I got the sense that it was, and that this was generator powered, because otherwise I didn't, understand why so many people would have to be there. It was summertime, so obviously people would need to cool off. So that was but I didn't know that for sure. I wasn't sure. And so about the time that I'd kind of seen all of this, and then I saw this other building there that people were in, and they had cyber capability there because it was an emergency building. They had some sort of satellite service that regular people couldn't get. It was an emergency service only. Then I looked outside and I saw Humvees and military vehicles pull up. And in this one particular Jeep style military vehicle, it pulled up into the school area. And a guy got out all by himself, and he had on black tall boots and black and tan. And he got out and he kind of planted his feet on the pavement, and he looked around, and he just had this military bearing, and he stood, and I realized they're going to institute martial law. And that was the end of that dream. Okay? Wow. So I had a second dream. And this one takes a little longer, so I'm going to put this into two parts, and then I'm going to talk about, the connection of the dream a little bit, to two dreams, I should say. So I'll stop the video, and I'll put the other one in part two.
Thank you so much, Sister Andrea, for sharing this very urgent end times dream that you received. I definitely saw the urgency in it, and I'm very happy that I was able to share it here on the channel. I do believe that many brothers and sisters in Christ from around the world are seeing similar things as you experienced in your dream. And this may be a confirmation for a dream that they have had of what they are also seeing as well. So I really appreciate you sharing that here with the channel family. I will keep you up to date on the part 2 portion of her experience so that I can share it with the channel with additional information that she received as well. Our Sister Andrea's channel information is in the description box, so please head over there and subscribe to her channel, especially if she posts more videos and updates. I thank you all for taking the time to watch this video today. If you can find it in your heart and would like to help and support this channel ministry, it would be so greatly appreciated. It truly helps me with the expenses that go into making a lot of the visual experiences that you see here on the channel. Thank you all so much, brothers and sisters in Christ. May God bless you and have a very blessed week.